welcome to the PV Tech Newscast. The big stories this week. The Saudi government consider collaborating with SunEdison to build a $6.4 billion manufacturing complex. India launches a monthly solar entrepreneurship program. SolarWorld are to take a major impairment charge on restructured polysilicon contracts. The new surcharge being implemented by the German government will cause the total collapse of the German solar industry, say top-flight insiders. And Richard Branson's Caribbean island is in line for a renewables mini-grid. SunEdison and the government of Saudi Arabia are undertaking a feasibility study to establish a fully integrated PV manufacturing complex, including polysilicon production through to PV module assembly at an estimated cost of $6.4 billion US. SunEdison said that it was working with the Saudi Arabian government's Public Investment Fund and the Saudi Arabian investment company, Sanabel Investments, on the complex, which would potentially be built at Wa'ad al-Shamal in Saudi Arabia. The company noted that a preliminary study carried out with the National Industrial Clusters Development Programme and SunEdison had been carried out in 2013. The production complex, if established, is said to be expected to employ SunEdison's proprietary high-pressure silane fluidized bed reactor polysilicon and continuous Czochralski crystal ingot technology and equipment. SunEdison is currently building a polysilicon plant in South Korea under a joint venture with Samsung. The polysilicon plant would support wafer needs of a planned 3 gigawatts of annual PV module production, as well as have enough capacity to remain highly competitive and sell polysilicon on the open market. SunEdison said that the Ministry of Petroleum and Minerals would provide the required quantities of natural gas, and the Saudi Electrical Company would provide power requirements for the polysilicon project. The government of India has issued a statement from its Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises to announce another round of its solar entrepreneurship program and to confirm that the program will now run every month. The latest 3-day entrepreneurship development program on solar energy started on the 31st of January at the National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, which is run by the aforementioned ministry. The program is the fourth of its kind so far, in conjunction with the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Prospective entrepreneurs from Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Maharashtra, Punjab and Bihar have participated in the course. According to the statement, the program covers financial, technical, commercial and regulatory aspects of solar energy entrepreneurship. The program is in line with India's National Solar Mission in its aim to support activities for human resources development and training. SolarWorld said in a statement that it had reached an agreement with a long-term raw material supplier to restructure supply contracts that would result in impairment charges amounting to tens of millions of euros. Now, the term raw materials normally applies only to high-purity polysilicon required for solar wafer production, as well as long-term supply contracts, as a legacy of polysilicon shortages in the last decade. The company said that the restructured deal has led to a re-evaluation of prepayment and repayment claims from the long-term supply contracts in their balance sheet. They also noted that the deal would have a positive short and medium-term impact on its overall liquidity and that the new agreement secured future supply requirements. Only very recently, polysilicon producer Wacker Chemie said it would benefit from a one-time windfall of around 115 million euros due to the restructuring of a supply contract with an undisclosed solar PV customer. Wacker noted that the restructured supply deal involved recognizing retained advance deposits as well as damages. SolarWorld has significantly cut wafer, cell and module production in Germany and the US during the last 2 years due to rapidly falling module prices caused by global overcapacity and mounting losses that resulted in a major debt restructuring move and investment from Qatar. In recent years, restructured polysilicon supply agreements have become more flexible in both supply and pricing arrangements due to overcapacity in the polysilicon production area. Now a return to an ongoing story. An executive at AS Solar has strongly criticised the new German energy minister's plans to reform the country's Renewable Energy Sources Act, warning that a total collapse of the German solar industry can be expected under the new legislation. Sigmar Gabriel, leader of the SPD, the political party which agreed to form a coalition with Angela Merkel's Union of Christian Democratic Parties, was appointed head of a new German super-ministry responsible for energy and the economy. His plans to reform the Act include the controversial levying of a surcharge on self-consumed PV-generated electricity, equivalent to 70% of what PV users would have paid if only using power from the grid. Chief executives of wholesale distributor AS Solar, Thomas Rust and Gerd Pomerian, are among the critics of the reforms. Both argue that self-generated electricity use with storage should be encouraged and promoted. The executives argue that penalising self-consumption would be equivalent to removing an important supporting pillar from the industry. AS Solar warned of further bankruptcies and job losses hitting the industry, and the possibility that solar power in Germany could exit the mainstream, returning to being just a niche market. And finally, the Caribbean island owned by Virgin tycoon Sir Richard Branson is to be fitted with a solar and wind-powered mini-grid installed by US-based NRG Energy. The system will be installed on Branson's Necker Island, one of the British Virgin Islands, supplying up to 75% of its energy needs and reducing its reliance on diesel-generated power. NRG's proposed system will integrate solar and wind generation with storage technologies linked to a new energy efficiency and energy control automation designed to reduce overall energy use and synchronise energy consumption with renewable energy production on the island. The island will be a demonstration project for the 10 Island Renewable Challenge programme, initiated by the Carbon War Room, the body set up by Branson to promote low-carbon growth. The aim of the initiative is to encourage island nations to shift away from fossil fuels. NRG Energy Chief Executive David Crane referred to the Caribbean's retail electricity prices, which are amongst the highest in the world, hindering economic development, job creation and quality of life. By tapping into each island's specific, readily available and ample renewable energy resources, Crane believes there can be an immediate and significant reduction of operating expenses, imported fuel cost, carbon footprint and other air emissions, and even noise pollution. The renewables-driven microgrid solution being designed and installed on Necker Island is intended to demonstrate this and provide a scalable, real-life application relevant to other islands of the Caribbean. The installation of the renewable power system is subject to regulatory approval in the British Virgin Islands. And that's all for this week's edition. Join us again next week, and in the meantime you can keep up to date with all the very latest PV news via our website and our Twitter feed. Thanks for watching.